Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Victor. This is Jack. What's on your mind today?
Okay, so today we want to do part two of the democracy series. Is
Okay.
democracy the solution type of thing? I'm going to link the part one if you've missed it. And so I want to make the assertion that even in the best democracy that we could put together, like not this system at all,
Okay.
but the best democracy we could make, that it would be impossible for that system that we would create in the future as a democracy to field a good candidate.
Okay.
So what we have right now is we have two national committees from a two-party system, and they both put inadequate candidates. And you might just be stopped there and say, wait a second, but I like blank. Could be Trump, DeSantis, whoever. I don't know who you're talking about. Buttigieg, like whatever you're thinking. And I want to say this. When I say adequate candidates, I'm saying a candidate that's going to destroy the Federal Reserve, a candidate that's going to end federal income tax, candidates who are going to do actual things like literally stop illegal immigration and deport 100% of illegal immigrants.
Right.
Like real things.
Not just maintaining this status quo that we're stuck in.
Right. And so what do you think about that? Do you think like if we had a better system, we would end up with better candidates to vote for? Do you think that that is the case? And I'm saying a better democratic system.
I don't know. As we were talking, I was trying to think like we had all these supposedly great people at the beginning of the country. And were they just great because they were participating in the Revolutionary War, and then we kind of ran out of those? I don't know. I mean, I was just spitballing this and trying to understand, like, how do you find those great people? Are they just busy being great doing other things? And
right. So the way our system is set up now, those people that we want to rule us don't want to rule us because DC is a swamp and only trash go there. A few good-hearted idealists try to go there that I can think of on both sides and maybe in the independent spot. And some of them get corrupted and some of them don't. But very few of the people we want to lead us. There's always this rule. The rule is we want to be led by people who don't want to lead us because the people who want to lead us have their motives.
That are not positive for everyone else.
Right. They're not what we want. And so at the beginning, you did have this core group of people who said, hey, and we're going to make a video about this. They're going to conspire to overthrow the United States, and they're going to meet in this secret room in the summer with the windows closed. They're going to swear to secrecy for X amount of years that they can't speak about what happens in the room, and they're going to make a constitution that's going to violate the Articles of Confederation and overthrow the United States. But those people were doing it for good motivations, I argue. They did overthrow the United States, but they created this constitution, and they really there was federalists and anti-federalists, and they were thinking through these things. They were writing treaties on them, and these people really cared. So when you get to why was Thomas Jefferson such a good president? Because he was the guy. He was that guy in the room. We want those people in the room.
Okay.
We're in the room right now because we are trying to find solutions. We're trying to educate people on the problems, the solutions. We want you to be in the room with us. And there's many people who are in this room. They're just not in the same room together right now.
Okay.
There's people out there is what I'm saying. And then you even look at someone like George Washington, right? Great president, right?
No.
Well, okay. So then they had a rebellion when he was president. So the very first president, after the presidents of the Articles of Confederation, of course. And what happened is they had this rebellion in Pennsylvania because they made a tax that favored big producers over small producers so they could crush the little guy.
Oh.
By just, if you're mass producing, you pay a lower tax rate.
Nice.
Which is a terrible idea. So they said, no, we're standing up in revolt. So George Washington's like, cool, I'm going to raise an army bigger than the entire Revolutionary Army to march out to Pennsylvania to crush these people. And he did. And he pardoned them, which is nice when he crushed the rebellion. But George Washington wasn't in the room. George Washington was a general, you know, and he was respected like you could be our first leader, you know. And then we get to some presidents after that, and we had some brilliant presidents. And then after that, it went downhill, though, because then the people getting the power want the party platforms or whatever.
Okay.
And so my point is here, though, that if we fixed all the things like the constitutional problems, the lack of following the Constitution, it would be very hard. Okay, so like think about this. When we're in this system right here and they're like, who should run? And we're talking Democrats here, 2024, who should run? And the answer is like all of the previous people who have run for president recently, they're terrible.
Right.
They're terrible. There are some really cool Democrats, I'll say, but they're not the people who've recently run for president. I'm talking like Hillary, and then I'm talking about all the 2020 candidates. I think they're stinkers. And they're like, who should run? And they're like, okay, well, it's got to be somebody really famous. So maybe Oprah, maybe Michelle Obama. So it's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Because there could be a really cool man or woman, white, black, Mexican, somebody really cool in the Democrat Party who's just not that famous, though.
Right. No,
You're out. Because it's a popularity contest. I don't think a popularity contest is the best way to find a good leader.
Right.
It's kind of like saying, okay, let's take Elon Musk out of power at his companies and let's put somebody in and let's do a popular vote on Twitter. Go, nominate people. Do you think you're going to get a good leader for SpaceX? Maybe chances are not. I think all the nominees will be silly people who aren't like, you're not SpaceX guy. And then whoever gets voted in is not going to be a good leader, and SpaceX is going to go down the hill and we'll never get anywhere in space.
Right.
And then that's kind of what we try to do with the government, as if this is a good idea.
Yeah, well, all the attention that's given to celebrities and all that. The society is a society of popularity.
Right.
I mean, even more than just politics.
Right.
And it leads to a society is uninformed. I mean, besides name recognition, they have no. You know, we've talked about you go and vote, even just your local elections. You have no idea who these people are, what they stand for, and we try.
And you have little means of finding that out. Even It's difficult. Okay, so what if instead of the popularity of the personality, we had the popularity of the ideology?
Okay.
So what I would like to see for a Democrat candidate is somebody come forward, maybe a state representative or something, and say, hey, I'm going to lay out an entire platform and I'm just going to blow your mind, right? And say she comes out, some Hispanic woman from California, we'll just say, randomly, you know? And she lays out this huge platform and it's like nothing you've ever seen from a politician. Can she win?
I would say no.
Absolutely not. She doesn't have a chance. Do you know why? Democratic National Committee will torture.
Yeah.
They will torture. And so, I mean, even if you said you had a future system not built around campaigning money, democracy equals popularity. It doesn't have anything to do with merit. And it's funny because a lot of people who are into meritocracy are pro-democracy. And democracy is popularity, not meritocracy.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Even like some form of state test would be a better, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where you have to follow your answers. So if you say end the reserve, you have to end the reserve. You have to work towards that.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I don't know how that would be enforced. I'm just saying hypothetically, a lot of things would be better. Not a monarchy, you know.
Right.
We've done that. Not better. We just did the bonus clip for the Solomon video. Chinese communism is doing better than us for making peace in the world. Like anything would be better, and let's not be communists, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
And we're going to make many videos that are going to show solutions. This is not one of those videos. I'm just talking about a problem, and the problem is that a good democracy couldn't field a good candidate.
And we're not even a good democracy.
We're not even we're a terrible democracy. Terrible. If you can even call us a democracy or whatever, constitutional republic, please don't put that in the comments. You know. But what I'm saying is, you look at these people. Do you remember the guy, the Fleck is Talk guy who does the videos on the street and he asks them simple questions like, name a country in North America. Yes. And these people don't know the answer, but they're voting.
Right.
They're voting. We talked about this in the first video of the series, that the more you can exclude people from voting up to a certain point where you exclude way too many people, it increases the quality of the voter.
Correct. And the vote.
And the vote,
Yeah.
right? Because we want a very educated people to be voting. And I'm not talking about college education. I'm talking about aware of what's going on in our country at the time. I don't care if you're a farm worker or a college student. I want the same thing from both of you.
Totally.
If you get to vote, I want you to know. Even the point that you just mentioned about how your local representatives, you don't even know who they are. How is there not laws on the books forcing them to come out and say, so for example, you get a pamphlet and there's two people running for county commissioner, whatever. The county guy running for county commissioner, Republican, has to make a write-up about how great he is and how terrible his opponent is. And then the Democrat will say, has to do how great they are and how terrible the other one is. And then you can go research that stuff and it's got links. Like, this is what the Republican did. He voted against social, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And you can click on the link or go look it up and you can see. But there's not even an attempt to. So we're going to talk in the next video about a great idea I have for differential amount of votes, which is a potential solution. This video doesn't kind of have solutions in it.
Okay, sounds spicy.
Yeah. And so then that's where we're going with this. So if you haven't seen the first video, I'll put a link in it, but you should check it out. And that's where we're headed.
Okay. So what do you think about that? Is democracy something that can work? Is there a scenario that you can think of where having everyone vote will produce good candidates and good results? If so, let us know how we're wrong. We'd love to hear what you have to say. We'll see you next time.